global warming, the first thing that I always think of is the melting of ice caps and the dying polar bears.
Polar bears are being negatively affected by the climate change. Even though this is not the only thing that persists when dealing with global warming, it is one of the bigger issues which affect a large amount of the total polar bear population.
Polar bears can be affected by hunting, pollution, and oil extraction, but they are mostly affected by the arising conditions of global warming.
Global warming causes the ice caps and ice surfaces to melt quicker, providing polar bears a small window of time to hunt. Therefore, they have less time to build up fat reserves. Between 1980 and 2004, the average weight of female polar bears dropped 21%. The overall population of polar bears dropped 22% between 1987 and 2004, and these numbers continue to rise.
But polar bears aren't the only thing being affected by global warming. Many other oceanic species are being affected too.
Species like penguins, right whales, sea turtles, lobsters, and cod, they're some of the most common marine species that are being affected by global warming. Penguins, however, are in the same binding situation as the polar bears.
Both the emperor penguins and the Adelie penguins face a bleak future when it comes to global climate change. According to a study by Arctic researchers, a temperature increase of just 1.3 degrees Celsius will jeopardize 40% of the emperor penguins and 70% of the Adelie penguins, mostly because of diminishing sea ice, their home.
Expanding upon what my colleague said, the future for polar bears and other Arctic species is going to be that the ground will quite literally melt from beneath their feet, and they just won't have an environment to live in, and they'll be forced to, the ones that must live on land anyway, like penguins and polar bears and Arctic foxes and things of that nature, will be forced to move to southern Africa and southern Australia and South America, and just effort to have anything to live on, like just to be able to live on land at all. And those climates collectively are all too adverse to the ones that they currently live in for them to be able to survive and adapt in that short of a time period. So we will face the extinction of many of those species if actions aren't taken now. What's being covered up by governments and corporations is the fact that information has already been found and research has been done that proves that we are in a period of warming, that global warming is real, but policymakers are reluctant to make any sort of changes based upon that purely because it's not the most economically sane move to do. It would require a lot of financial sacrifice from first world countries, which are the major creators of these emissions, and they just feel like it's better for them to just set the issue off and to make the later generations deal with it rather than themselves.
Okay, so all in all, polar bears, penguins, and a variety of oceanic species are being affected and dying because of our choices. There needs to be an end to global climate change.
To wrap this up, here is a word from one of our most beloved actors, Leonardo DiCaprio, on his opinion over the subject.
At the Oscars, he gave this speech.
Climate change is real. It is happening right now. It is the most urgent threat facing our entire species, and we need to work collectively together and stop procrastinating. We need to support leaders around the world who do not speak for the big polluters or the big corporations, but who speak for all of humanity, for the indigenous people of the world, for the billions and billions of underprivileged people who will be most affected by this, for our children's children, and for those people out there whose voices have been drowned out by the politics of greed. I thank you all for this amazing award tonight.
So let's work together with Leonardo DiCaprio to make our world a better place.
Adopt a polar bear, save the world.